Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new disc golf video. Today we're going to be going over the big takeaways from the Dynamic Discs Open. This is the first professional disc golf event since the coronavirus break. Obviously there have been smaller tournaments, but this is the big one where all the big touring pros come back and compete in the Dynamic Discs Open in Emporia, Kansas. Now, if you don't know anything about this tournament, it is on a golf course and it's very windy in Emporia, so the conditions tend to impact how players play. But in this video, we're going to be reviewing how each of the players did, some highlights that you need to know from the Dynamic Discs Open. Now, the big takeaway is Paul Mcbeth winning the men's section of the Dynamic Discs Open over Heinberg, who finished in second place. Now, Paul Mcbeth had a large lead going in. I think it was around 6 to 7 strokes lead over Emerson Keith. Going into the tournament, Heinberg shot a hot 10 under round in the final round to end up 1 stroke short of Paul Mcbeth, but Paul ended up obviously continuing to play strong and won the entire tournament, and he played really clutch golf and came out on top as he usually does. This is just another reminder for the disc golf community that Paul Mcbeth is still on top. He's still the GOAT, and he proved it in Emporia this weekend. Now, the next big takeaway I already mentioned, but it was Heinberg shooting a hot 10 under final round, and that is really impressive. I think Paul Mcbeth shot a 1 under final round. I don't know if that's right, but he did not shoot anywhere near as good as Heinberg. Calvin already had won a tournament previous in the 2020 disc golf season, and coming in with an impressive second place finish, not even on lead card. He came in from chase card, shooting 10 under to finish in second place. That gives him a ton of confidence going into the next tournament, and definitely lets all the other players in the field know that he's there to play and he's serious about this season of disc golf. And I definitely think he's got a really good shot at winning some big tournaments along the way, and definitely at the Dynamic Discs Open, he proved himself even more. Playing in these tough conditions, the wind, played really consistent, and he was able to shoot one of the best rounds in the entire tournament. Now, another takeaway that not many people are going to notice is Brathwaite finished tied for 10th place, which obviously isn't too shocking of a statistic, but something that you need to know is Brathwaite has played in multiple tournaments throughout the quarantine where a lot of players couldn't play, and these tournaments were in California, obviously strict guidelines for the players and the film crews. He actually placed really well in the challenge at Go Hill and is able to come up with a ton of PDGA points for the season, and that is one thing that people are sleeping on. Brathwaite playing really good disc golf at the moment, and he has gotten a ton more PDGA points and has played in a ton more tournaments than a lot of the other players on tour. If you want to watch the challenge at Go Hill, I highly recommend it. A great tournament produced by Central Coast Disc Golf, and he played really well in that tournament and continues to play consistent disc golf. Even though he's one of the older touring pros, he is playing consistent, and he's here to play, and he's here to compete versus all these young guys. I think Brathwaite's got a really good opportunity to score big this season. Now, the next point I have is a little bit of a downer, but the Dynamic Discs team on the men's side did not show out very well. This is the Dynamic Discs Open, and the DD team definitely was a lackluster performance. Their number 1 placing in the men's side was tied for 15th by Jake Lauber, who is one of the known members of the team, but definitely isn't one of the most popular members because of his lack of showings on lead card and chase card action in the bigger tournaments. Now, more of the known players like Eric Oakley and AJ Risley did not perform well in this tournament, as Eric Oakley finished tied for 29th and AJ Risley finished tied for 72nd at plus 22 at the Dynamic Discs Open in Emporia. And I don't know, I felt like the Dynamic Discs team would have had a better showing considering they're more familiar with the course and have more playing time in those conditions, but obviously it got the best of them in the tough wind, and I know no matter who you are, it's tough playing in those hard, windy conditions, but I would have expected a better performance from the Dynamic Discs team. And overall, I felt like it was a lackluster performance by the team, but hopefully they bounce back in the next tournament, have a lot of good showings. And shout out to Jake Lauber for finishing tied for 15th. Definitely a solid performance from him this weekend, and I really hope that the DD team will bounce back in the next tournament. Now, some of the bigger news was Brody Smith actually dropped out of this tournament due to his Lyme disease incident, and I believe he only played the first 2 rounds. I think he shot even golf in his first round and +7 in the second round, and then he had to drop out. Part of that was due to the medicine he was taking for his Lyme disease caused him to be very hot and not have the conditions to play in the tournament. His physical condition was very low when he was playing in that second round, and ultimately caused him to drop out of the tournament as he was not comfortable playing in those conditions. Obviously, everyone is hoping that he will be able to come back at full strength for the next tournament, but we are all hoping Brody Smith will get a fair shot in the next tournament. Obviously, he's not 100%. We would all love to see him play at 100% and see what he can truly do with a lot of experience, a lot of practice in this kind of second off season of disc golf throughout the quarantine. He's been putting in work with Paul Mcbeth Foundation Disc Golf and a lot of work over the quarantine, and I really think everyone is excited to see what he can do, and we're all wishing Brody Smith the best as he recovers from Lyme disease, and hopefully he'll be able to dominate in the next tournament, hopefully get a top 20 finish, and we would all love to see that. Now, another big takeaway from the tournament is Kasey White, a newly signed member of Team Discmania. Obviously, everyone has seen him playing with Simon Lizotte in his vlogs, and he actually was recently signed to the pro team of Discmania, and he was able to play in the Dynamic Discs Open as part of the Team Discmania, and I think that's a really exciting thing for him. Obviously, when you're going into that tournament newly signed to the team, you're just trying to do your best, because you know a lot of people are expecting a lot of things out of you. This is the first big tournament that he's been able to play in as a team member of Discmania, and he was able to get 26th place, which I feel like is a pretty solid performance considering the dude is really young and he was newly signed to Team Discmania. A big shout out to Kasey White, great job, and I'm glad that he was able to show everybody in the disc golf community that he can play at a high level and keep up with these older guys who have more elite tournament experience. But he played well this weekend, and I think that Kasey White will be a great name on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. My final takeaway of the tournament is on the women's side, as Paige Pierce wins the women's Dynamic Discs Open by a long shot. She shot a very hot round. I'm not sure of the specific numbers because obviously I didn't watch their entire final round. I knew that she was up by a lot of strokes going in, and I'm not sure if she ended the tournament winning by double digits or not, but Paige Pierce absolutely dominating the women's side of the tournament. Great job to her, and Discraft should be very proud by their showing in the Dynamic Discs Open as they win the men's and women's side. Great job, Paul Mcbeth and Paige Pierce, on winning your tournaments respectively. But anyway, those are my big takeaways from the Dynamic Discs Open. If you feel I missed anything, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoy these types of videos of a tournament analysis, definitely leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a good week, and I hope this video helped improve your day a little bit. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.